Hello everyone, hope you all are doing well. Today we will discuss the environmental current affairs from January to September 2024. As you all know, this topic is very important as per the exam perspective. You can expect the question from this topic. If you are not yet subscribed to my channel, please subscribe, like, share and comment. Okay, let's get started. Recently, India Meteorological Department IMD celebrated the 105th year of its establishment and service to India. And the recent initiatives launched by IMD, the National Framework of Climate Service NFCS and indigenously developed decision support system. The aim of the National Framework Climate Service is to provide the climate information and service helpful for agriculture, energy, disaster management and health and water sectors. And the indigenously developed decision support system, it is a WebGI based integrated decision support system. It is a WebGIS based system known as the Weather Analysis and Forecast Enabling System. Recently, IIT Delhi created the first high-resolution Indian landslide susceptibility map. The map divides the terrain into zones. Based on the likelihood of landslide occurrence. So what IIT Delhi created? First high resolution Indian landslide susceptibility map. That map divides the terrain into zones. Okay, next. Prithvi Vigyan scheme. Recently the Union Cabinet has approved the watching scheme Prithvi Vigyan. It comes under the Ministry of Earth and Science and its period from 2021 to 2026. And the overall cost of this scheme is to 4,797 crore. It encompasses the 5 ongoing sub-schemes, that is across. It is related to the atmosphere and climate research modeling system, atmosphere and climate, and the second one OSMART, it is related to the ocean service and modeling applications. This FACER, it is a polar science and cryosphere research. Next, fourth one SAGE, it is a seismology and geosciences. And the last one Reach Out, it is related to research, education, training and outreach. Research, education, training and outreach. So these are the 5 ongoing sub-schemes of the Prithvi Vigyan scheme. Global Risk Report 2024. It is released by the World Economic Forum. Remember, it is released by the World Economic Forum. According to this report, India's top 5 risks are misinformation and disinformation, infectious disease, illicit economic activity, inequality, that is wealth and income, and last one, labor shortage. So these are the India's top 5 risks. Conjoined silver line. Recently, a new butterfly species identified in the Karnataka's Kodagu district. Remember, conjoined silver line. It is a butterfly species. Next, vulture restaurant. Recently, it is established in Koderma district, Jharkhand. Its aim is to address the adverse impact of livestock drugs, particularly diclofenac on vultures. And the second thing is conserve the critically endangered species. Okay, vulture restaurant is established in Koderma district, Jharkhand, and its aim is to address the adverse impact of livestock drugs, particularly diclofenac on vultures. And the second thing is conserve the critically endangered species. Okay, next topic. Conservation of migratory species, CMS. Recently, 14th meeting of the Conference of Parties to the Convention on Conservation of Migratory Species of Wild Animals, that was held in Samarkand, Uzbekistan. The outcomes of these meetings are a host of new measures to safeguard migratory species have been adopted, and the slogan was Nature knows no borders. Remember, the slogan was Nature knows no borders, and addition of 14 species to the conservation of migratory species. The Parliament recently passed the Water Prevention and Control of Pollution Amendment Act 2024. It amends the Water Prevention and Control of Pollution Act 1974. And the application is for Himachal Pradesh, Rajasthan and the Union Territories. Biodiversity Heritage Site. Recently, Gupteshwar Forest in Odisha, Korpur district is declared as the 4th Biodiversity Heritage Site of the state. So, Gupteshwar Forest is the Odisha's 4th Biodiversity Heritage Site. It is spread over the 350 hectares. It is a part of the Eastern Ghats. And this forest is culturally significant due to its sacred groves. The forest could contribute to the local livelihood through the ecotourism. Local livelihoods through ecotourism. The Clean Air Conference recently took place in Nairobi, Kenya. And the objective of this conference is to highlighting the ways to further scale up implementation of the Global Methane Pledge, the Clean Air Flagship and Kigali Amendment. The Kigali Amendment is the international agreement to gradually reduce the consumption and production of hydrofluorocarbons. Consumption and production of hydrofluorocarbons, HFCs. Remember, Climate and Clean Air Conference 2024 took place in Nairobi, Kenya. Recently, PM Surya Ghar Muft Bijli Yojana. It is launched by the Prime Minister Narendra Modi for installing the rooftop solar in 1 crore households nationwide. This Yojana comes under the Ministry of New and Renewable Energy. Ministry of New and Renewable Energy. And aim of this Yojana is to provide free electricity up to 300 units every month for 1 crore households. To provide free electricity up to 300 units every month for 1 crore households. So the PM Surya Ghar Muft Bijli Yojana is installed the rooftop solar in 1 crore households to provide the free electricity up to 300 units every month for 1 crore households. Next, Indian gharials. It was recently in news because its IUCN status is critically endangered. It comes under the Wildlife Protection Act 1972 in the Schedule 1st. See, in Wildlife Protection Act 1972, in this we have totally 6 schedules. In that, Schedule 1st is related to the endangered species. And it comes under the Cities Appendix 1, and the Indian gharials reside exclusively in river habitats with deep, clear, fast flowing waters and steep sandy banks. Please remember, Indian gharials, its IUCN status is critically endangered and it comes under the Schedule 1st, and its habitat is river. Next, Green Credit Program. Recently, Ministry of Environment, Forest and Climate Change MOEFCC notified the methodology for calculation of green credits for tree plantation activity. Green Credit Program GCP 2023 rules under Green Credit Program. So what is this Green Credit Program? It is an innovation market based mechanism to incentives environment positive actions by different stakeholders such as industries, institutions, state, government and philanthropies. And the participation to this Green Credit Program shall be based on voluntary participation. Recently, the 6th session of the UN Environment Assembly has concluded in Nairobi, Kenya. It is the headquarter of the UN Environment Program, that is UNEP. So where is the headquarter of the UNEP? Nairobi, Kenya. The theme of the session was effective, inclusive and sustainable multilateral actions to tackle the climate change, biodiversity loss and pollution. And UNEA 7th session is to be scheduled in December 2025 at Nairobi. So next session is in 2025. International Big Cat Alliance, IBCA. The Union Cabinet recently approved the establishment of the International Big Cat Alliance, IBCA, with headquarters in India. This IBCA is a multi-country and multi-agency coalition, and it comprises the 96 big cat range countries and conservation partners, scientific organization and business groups. And its aim is to conservation of 7 big cats, namely lion, tiger, snow leopard, cheetah, jaguar and puma. So remember, the Union Cabinet recently approved the establishment of International Big Cat Alliance, IBCA, with headquarter in India. Its headquarter will be in India, and it conserves the 7 big cats. India's first National Dolphin Research Center was recently inaugurated in Patna, Bihar, and it's aimed at conserving the endangered Gangetic River dolphin. The Ganges River dolphins are restricted to fresh water and use ultrasonic waves for hunting and navigation. It is restricted to fresh water and it is restricted to use ultrasonic waves for hunting and navigation. So remember, India's first National Dolphin Research Center was recently inaugurated in Patna, Bihar. UN World Water Development Report, Water for Prosperity and Peace. This report was released on World Water Day at UNESCO headquarters in Paris. Remember, United Nations World Water Development Report released by the UNESCO on behalf of UN Water. According to the latest survey, there are around 7,396 golden langours in India. Its IUCN status is endangered. Remember, golden langur IUCN status is endangered. Cities Appendix 1st, and it comes under the Wildlife Protection Act, Schedule 1st. See, any animal comes in news and you should know its IUCN status. It's important as per the exam perspective. Okay. Recently, Sustainable Finance for Tiger Landscapes Conference was hosted by the Bhutan government and supported by the Tiger Conservation Coalition. So remember, it is hosted by Bhutan and the Tiger Conservation Coalition. Next, recently the Global E-Waste Monitor 2024 was released. This report is funded and prepared in partnership by the United Nations Institute for Training and Research, UNITAR. So the Global E-Waste Monitor 2024 report is released by the UNITAR. Next, millets. Recently, it's closed the ceremony of International Year of Millets 2023 took place at the FAO headquarters in Rome, Italy. Millets are rich in protein and vitamins, minerals and fiber. So remember, closing ceremony of the Millets 2023 took place in Rome, Italy. Recently, World Intellectual Property adopted the Treaty on Intellectual Property, Genetic Resources and Associated Traditional Knowledge. The genetic resources means the resources that are contained in medicinal plants, and agricultural crops and animal breeds. And traditional knowledge means it consists of indigenous communities. Traditional knowledge consists of indigenous communities and often relating to their natural environment. Natural environment. So recently, World Intellectual Property adopted the Treaty on Genetic Resources and Associated Traditional Knowledge. And its significance is it helps in biodiversity conservation, and 80% of the world's population depends on the traditional medicine for its primary health care, WHO. Recently, World Economic Forum released the Fostering Effective Energy Transition 2024 report. This report is based on the Energy Transition Index that evaluates the 120 countries on their energy system performance. So in that, India's rank is 63. According to this report, 6 G20 countries are among the top 20 performers. Those are France, Germany, Brazil, China, UK and USA. So Clean Energy Transition Report is released by World Economic Forum and India's rank is in this 2024 63. India became third largest solar power generator. This is highlighted as per the Global Electricity Review GER 2024 report. It is released by the Global Energy Think Tank Ember. So India became the third largest solar power generator according to the Global Electricity Review 2024 report. And remember, this Global Electricity Review report will be released by Global Energy Think Tank Ember. Small island developing states and climate change. Panama became the first nation to evacuate island community over climate impact. About 300 indigenous Guna families are being relocated from the Gardi Sugdab Island to the mainland Panama due to the concern over rising sea levels. So 300 Guna families are being relocated from the Gardi Sugdab Island to Panama due to the concerns over rising sea levels. Remember, 300 Guna families were relocated from Gardi Sugdab Island to Panama due to the rising sea levels. Okay, next, Indian Himalayan region. The new fundamental right to be free from the climate change impact necessitates a sustainable development model for the Indian Himalayan region (IHR). In the M.K. Ranjit Singh vs. Union of India case 2024, Supreme Court recognized the right to be free from the adverse effects of climate change under Articles 49-21 of the Constitution. So what it is? Right to be free from the adverse effect of effects of climate change under the Articles 49-21. Remember, M.K. Ranjit Singh vs. Union of India case 2024 is related to the adverse effect of climate change. Recently, Ministry of Coal has launched a pioneering underground coal gasification pilot project in Jharkhand's Jamarta district. Recently, Cabinet approved the Viability Gap Funding Scheme for the implementation of offshore wind energy projects. It comes under the Ministry of New and Renewable Energy, and its aim is to installation and commissioning of 1 gigawatt of the offshore wind energy projects and upgradation of these two ports to meet the logistics requirements for offshore wind energy projects. The two ports which are present in Gujarat and Tamil Nadu. Recently, 30th anniversary of the United Nations Convention to Combat Desertification (UNCCD) took place. UNCCD is one of the three global agreements of the Rio Conventions. This UNCCD was established in 1994. It is a sole legally binding international agreement linking the environment and development to sustainable land management. And the theme was United for Land, Our Legacy, Our Future. And UNCCD consists of 196 member countries, and the objective of this UNCCD is to protect and restore land, to protect and restore the land, and ensure a safer, just and more sustainable future. More sustainable in future. And UNCCD released the report called Global Land Outlook. It released the report Global Land Outlook. Next, recently 46th Antarctic Treaty Consultative Meeting and the 26th Committee on Environmental Protection concluded. These were hosted by the National Center for Polar and Ocean Research and Ministry of Earth Science and Government of India. The CEP, Committee on Environmental Protection, advises the ATCM, that is Antarctic Treaty Consultative, on the environmental protection and conservation in Antarctica. Recently, Untapped Collective Intelligence for Climate Action Report was released by the UNDP. And this report explores the potential of collective intelligence initiatives in climate adaptation and mitigation. So remember, Untapped Collective Intelligence for Climate Action Report released by UNDP. Recently, UNESCO releases the State of the Ocean Report 2024. This report structured around the UN decades of ocean science for sustainable development, offshore insighting into ocean related scientific activities describing the current and future state of the ocean. And the key findings of these reports are: ocean is now warming at twice the rate it was 20 years ago. Ocean warming twice the rate it was 20 years ago. And ocean temperatures have risen by an average of 1.5 degrees Celsius. Okay, remember, Ocean Report 2024 is released by UNESCO. Recently, State and Trends of Carbon Pricing 2024 report is released by the World Bank. And the key findings of this report is China and India are the largest host countries in terms of issuance of the carbon credits. Remember, Carbon Pricing 2024 report is released by World Bank. India celebrated the 50th anniversary of the Crocodile Conservation Project. India has launched its Crocodile Conservation Project in Odisha's Baitarkarnika National Park in 1975 with the assistance of UNDP and the UNS Food and Agriculture Organization FAO. Okay, we'll see some facts of crocodile. The crocodiles are the largest surviving species of the vertebrate class reptile. Largest surviving species of the vertebrata class reptile. It belongs to reptile class and its habitat is freshwater swamps. Its habitat is freshwater swamps, lakes and rivers. Recently, Union Minister of State for Science and Technology have launched the two geoportals. One is Bhuvan Panchayat 4.0 and NDEM 5.0. These two portals are created by ISRO. Bhuvan Panchayat 4.0 is an online geospatial data and service dissemination platform, and its objective is to integrate and use the space-based information in governance and research initiatives for spatial planning at Gram Panchayat. NDEM 5.0. It provides a comprehensive geospatial database for entire country. It is for entire country for situational assessment and effective decision making during disasters or emergency situations. Bhuvan Panchayat 4.0, it is an online geospatial data and service dissemination platform, and it integrates the and use space-based information in governance and research initiatives. And NDM 5.0 is a comprehensive geospatial database. It is for entire country. Okay. Next, heat dome. Recently, cities across southern and western states in the USA are facing heat waves due to the weather phenomenon known as heat dome. Heat dome is a weather phenomenon where a ridge of high pressure gets stuck in the atmosphere. High pressure gets stuck in the atmosphere. Ridge of high pressure gets stuck in the atmosphere, and it traps the hot air that expands vertically into the atmosphere, and high pressure pushes it towards the ground. Recently, Union Cabinet has approved India to sign the Biodiversity Beyond National Jurisdiction BBNG agreement. The Ministry of Earth Science will spearhead its implementation. High seas are the areas outside the national jurisdiction of any country. High seas means the areas outside the national jurisdiction of any country. High seas are the belongs to no one and everyone enjoys equal rights for navigation, overflight, economical activities and for scientific research. These are considered as the global commons. Recently, Paraguay became the 100th country to join the International Solar Alliance. After Paraguay, so many countries have joined into the ISA. So at present, ISA has more than 120 signatory countries. Okay, next. Great Indian Bustard. Ministry of Environment, Forest and Climate Change MOEFCC approved the funds for next phase from 2024 to 2029 of Bustard Recovery Program. This program covers the Great Indian Bustard and Lesser Florican. Soil Health. International Conference on Soils held in Morocco. UNESCO has pledged to support its member states by establishing World Soil Health Index. It measures the soil quality across the regions and ecosystems. Measures the soil quality across the regions and ecosystems, and it identifies the degradation improvement trends. Degradation improvement trends, and it identifies the areas which are at risk. Recently, the Union Government introduced the Disaster Management Amendment Bill 2024 in the Lok Sabha to amend the Disaster Management Act 2005. The new bill aims to mainstream disaster management in development plans and aligning the recommendations of 15th Finance Commission. And amendment bill will bring more clarity. It brings more clarity and coverages in roles of authorities and committees. Next, renewable energy in India. According to the Ministry of New and Renewable Energy, India's renewable energy capacity grew by 165% in 10 years, rising from 76.38 gigawatts in 2014 to 203.1 gigawatt in 2024. And India ranks 4 globally in the renewable energy. India ranks 4 in global renewable energy and also 4th in wind energy. India's rank is 4th in wind energy across the global and 5th in solar photovoltaic power. Next, river linking project. Recently, the Maharashtra government has approved the Wainganga Nalganga river linking project. Under this project, water from Vaiganga river in Godavari basin will be redirected to the Nalganga project in Buldana district by constructing 426.52 km of link the canals. So what is this project? The water from Vaiganga river in Godavari basin will be redirected to the Nalganga project. Okay, next. Gross Environment Product Index. Uttarakhand has become the first Indian state to launch a Gross Environment Product Index GEPI. This GEPI has 4 pillars such as air, soil, tree and water, and this is the formula of the index. And the significance of this index are: it helps to assess the impact of anthropological pressure on our ecosystem and natural resources, and it also calculates what we put back into the environment and quantifies the contribution of natural ecosystem to the economy and overall welfare. And it quantifies the contribution of natural ecosystem to the economy and overall welfare. Recently, the World Bank released the Impact of Climate Change on Education report. This report highlights that climate change intensifies extreme weather. It highlights the intensifies extreme weather, disrupts schooling and causes learning losses and dropouts. Recently, Azerbaijan launches Climate Finance Action Fund in the package of initiatives for UN Climate Change Conference COP29. Its headquarters is present in Baku, Azerbaijan. This fund will support the climate projects in developing countries. It supports the climate projects in developing countries, meeting next generation of nationally determined contribution to keep the 1.5 degrees Celsius within reach and addressing the consequences of natural disasters. Recently, the EU Nature Restoration Law came into force. EU is the first continent-wide legislation for nature restoration, and its aim is to restore 20% of degraded ecosystems by 2030 and all by 2050, and it requires member states to prepare national restoration plans by 1st September 2026. Remember, EU is the first continent-wide legislation for nature restoration law. Next, aquatic deoxygenation. Experts call for recognition of aquatic deoxygenation, that is AD, as a new planetary boundary. AD is the overall decline in the oxygen content of ocean. AD means it is overall decline in the oxygen content of ocean and coastal waters. About 2% of oxygen content in ocean has been lost since the 1960s, and more than 500 low oxygen sites have been identified in the coastal waters. The State of the World's Mangroves 2024 report was released on the World Mangrove Day on 26 July by the Global Mangrove Alliance. Southeast Asia has about one third of all mangroves globally. See, Southeast Asia has the one third of all mangroves globally. Indonesia alone 21% of world's mangroves, and followed by West and Central Africa. So remember, the State of the World's Mangroves report will be released by the Global Mangrove Alliance. Okay, next. Methanotropes. Agarkar Research Institute has described India's first cultures of indigenous methanotropes named Methylococumys oryz. These bacteria oxidize the methane and build up their biomass, and its habitat wetlands, rice fields, ponds and other water bodies. And these bacteria can oxidize methane produced in anaerobic environments. Next, Nilkurunji. It has been included on the IUCN, that is International Union for Conservation of Nature, to the official red list of threatened species under the vulnerable categories. So Nilkurunji is added to the vulnerable category. This Nilkurunji is a shrub for massive blooming every 12 years. It blooms for every 12 years, and it is present in shola grasslands of Western Ghats. Next, Asian Disaster Preparedness Center, ADPC. Recently, India has taken over the chair of ADPC from the People's Republic of China for the year 2024 to 2025. This ADPC is an autonomous international organization for cooperation in and implementation of the disaster risk reduction. India and 8 neighboring countries are the founding members of this ADPC. It was established in 1986 as a regional disaster preparedness center, DMC, in Bangkok, Thailand. It is established in Bangkok, Thailand in 1986. Next, Integrated Fire Management Voluntary Guidelines Updates. After 2 decades, FAO updated its IFM voluntary guidelines for managing wildfire risks. The principles of this IFM: maximize the benefits and minimize the wildfire losses by the implementing an efficient IFM program. So far, Green Thug Transition Program, GTTP, launched. Recently, the Union Minister for Port Shipping and Waterways launched the SOP for GTTP to drive the transition from conventional fuel-based harbor tugs to greener and more sustainable alternatives towards the green shipping. So it is launched by UN Minister of Port Shipping and Waterways. A tug is a particular class of boat which helps mega ships enter or leave a port. This GTTP announced in 2023 and it is a key initiative under the Panchkarma Sankalp. It was a key initiative under the Panchkarma Sankalp to phase out conventional fuel based harbor thugs operating in Indian major ports and replace them with green thugs. Indian Ocean structures named Ashok, Chandragupta and Kalpataru. These ridges in the Indian Ocean have been approved by the IHO and UNESCO's IOC. IHO is the International Hydrographic Organization. They were discovered by the National Center for Polar and Ocean Research. They were discovered by the National Center for Polar and Ocean Research. Next, deepest rock sample from Earth's mantle obtained. Recently, US scientists drilled around 1.2 kilometer and found the deepest rock sample from the Earth's mantle. This mantle consisting of silicate rock makes up over 80% of Earth's volume is the mid layer of the Earth. The drilling was done on the southern side of the Atlantis Massif near the Lost City hydrothermal field. Next, Typhoon Yagi became the strongest storm of the year in Asia, hitting several countries like Myanmar, Vietnam, Laos and Thailand. It caused the devastating winds and heavy rainfall. It caused the devastating winds and heavy rains, leading to flooding and landslides. In response to this disaster, India has launched a relief effort called Operation Sadbhav. Next, Nagar One Yojana was launched by the Government of India in 2020 to increase the amount of greenery in cities. The purpose of this Nagar One Yojana is to improve the quality of life in cities by creating more green spaces. And the financial support and size the government is providing 4 lakh per hectare, and this Yojana is focusing on the biodiversity by planting varieties of trees. Okay, so far we have discussed about the environmental current affairs from January to September 2024. And one more thing, I have solved the MCQs on different topics. You can watch it from my playlist. If this video helps you in any way, please subscribe, like, share and comment. And also don't forget to press the bell icon for the upcoming videos. Thanks for watching.